Welcome to Here It Is. It's Tuesday night and we are live, unless you are watching this in the future, at which point in time it will not be live. But we are live at this particular juncture in time. It's Musical Hangout, the only musical program where we dig deep into big issues of morality, such as if a tree falls in the forest and somebody tells you about it, did a tree really fall in the forest, or is that person lying their pants off? Zach Hval, Esquire, singer-songwriter, guitar player extraordinaire, would appreciate you, if you're watching this on the tube of YouTubes, clicking those links in the description for all of the fun. Links are going to be smacked into your mouth if you're watching this on the Instagram. Folks, I got to tell you, I watched an important picture for cats like me. In fact, it might be the movie for cats like me. I watched the movie Crossroads from 1986. Does anybody remember Crossroads from 1986? Crossroads is a film starring Ralph Macchio, Joe Seneca, and Jamie Gertz. And it follows the story of a young, aspiring blues musician played by Ralph Macchio and his exploits with the old man who is believed to be Willie Brown, blind Willie Brown from the Robert Johnson song, and it's rooted firmly in the legend of Robert Johnson. You know, how the whole story about him selling his soul to the devil at the crossroads to become Robert Johnson. Now, initially I thought I liked this movie. By the time the credits were rolling, I was like, that hit me right here. It hit me right here, and it hit me right here in the fingers to make me want to play the guitar. But then I remembered a certain line in that movie, and that is a line delivered by Ralph Macchio. So he's at the beginning of the movie, he's working as a janitor and attending the Juilliard Music Academy. Now, first of all, this is where the problems begin with this picture, right? Because I don't think at any point in time, certainly not now, could a student working part-time as a janitor, mopping up after old people, ever afford a classical music degree at Juilliard working part-time in New York City. I don't think that's possible. The second problem is now Ralph Macchio's character is a blues fanatic, and the best of us are. And so he really thinks that Joe Seneca's character is blind Willie Brown, okay? And he's trying to get it out of him for the first 25 minutes of this picture. Now, finally, the guy, Joe Seneca's character, Willie Brown, says, "What's a kid like you know about, blues music anyways?" And it's a reasonable question. I've been asked that many times. But I don't give the answer Ralph Macchio gave, and I'll explain that in a minute. But Ralph Macchio says, and it's just the way he says it, I'm a bluesman. And I stopped me dead in my tracks. I was otherwise enjoying this picture, but that line stopped me dead in my tracks because I immediately thought to myself, the f*** you are. If Ralph Macchio thinks if Ralph Macchio in this movie is a bluesman, then I am Mickey Mouse, okay? There's just something, and the guy doesn't believe it either in the movie. And he tortures him. One of the greatest parts about this picture is that Joe Seneca's character tortures Ralph Macchio pretty much the entire movie about his lack of guitar playing chops, his lack of understanding of blues and blues culture and things like that. Because all Ralph Macchio knows about blues is he's read it from a book and probably watched, I have to believe in 1986 they had PBS specials on the blues and things like that. I never tell people I'm a bluesman. I always say I'm a folk singer, or when they're, impressed by my, if they are impressed at all by whatever I do on the electric guitar, I always just say I'm a blues and rock kid that got hip to some things along the way, because very little of what I do on the guitar is straight blues. And so you never go around, and it's not because I'm white. There's a whole other argument we can get into there, but you never go around calling yourself a bluesman, because there's a certain lifestyle that comes with calling yourself a bluesman. And that's part of, the journey. Part of Ralph Macchio's character arc is learning how to be a bluesman. You got to learn how to dress like a bluesman and things like that. And it culminates in this epic guitar battle. The guitar battle between Steve Vai and Ralph Macchio at the end of the movie is exactly as good as every guitar player has told you it was. But I would be remiss if I didn't say that while I like Steve Vai, listen, Guitar World magazine in 2012 ranked him as the number 10 greatest guitar player of all time. So, and chances are, if Joe Satriani is your guitar teacher, you're probably you've got some decent chops. But I would be remiss if I didn't say that movie would have been slightly better had they actually cast Stevie Ray Vaughan as the devil's guitar playing virtuoso. See, the end of the movie picture, the end of the picture culminates in Ralph Macchio having to save Willie Brown's soul because he sold it to the devil, much like not Eric Johnson, but Robert Johnson. And Ralph Macchio doesn't believe in any of this devil mumbo jumbo. So he's like, sure, I'll duke it out with whoever your guitar player is. And it was Steve Vai. And Steve Vai actually played both guitar parts in that guitar battle, except for the neoclassical bits, which is weird because he's definitely got the chops to do that. But I can't help but think that a movie about blues, would have been better if the devil's guitar playing virtuoso was played by an actual bluesman. And it's especially great because Stevie Ray Vaughan is sort of a next generation of bluesmen, right? You've got Robert Johnson, then you've got guys like Albert King and B.B. King, and then Stevie Ray Vaughan's generation. So it would have been kind of like the battle of a disciple of old the old blues world and this new blues world with Stevie Ray Vaughan, but I guess either some type of scheduling conflict or something like that, he did not end up playing Jack Butler, who the devil's guitar playing virtuoso. But be that as it may, it's still an interesting movie and worth checking out if you're a fan of the things we do here Tuesday nights at Musical Hangout. Well, it's going to be a fun night here, as always. We're not going to do any Bob Dylan tonight, so if you're tuning in for that, I hate to disappoint you. But we are going to do some more Neil Young. Neil Young has not been very well represented here in Musical Hangout. He's represented it elsewhere in my art. But we'll do a song from one of my favorite Neil Young records. The song is called Tell Me Why, but the record from 1970 is called After the Gold Rush, and we'll talk a little bit more about that here in just a minute. Sailing hardships through broken harbors out on the waves in the night. Still the searcher must ride the dark horse racing along in its ride. Tell me why. Tell me why. Is it hard to make arrangements with yourself when you're old enough to repay but young enough to sell? Later come and see me, I'll be around for a while. I am lonely, but you can free me all in the way that you smile. Tell me why. Tell me why. Is it hard to make arrangements with yourself when you're old enough to repay but young enough to sell? Tell me why. Tell me why. Is it hard to make arrangements with yourself when you're old enough to repay but young enough to sell? Tell Me Why is the title track of the 1970 record After the Gold Rush by Neil Young. The title track is a great piano song. It was one of the first songs I learned on the piano. I actually got to see Uncle Neil do it live here a few years ago. But the record stands out not just because of all the material on it, but because it actually started out as the soundtrack to a motion picture starring Dennis Hopper. But the project ended up falling through, I think, drugs and whatnot, and Hollywood being Hollywood. But Neil kept writing for the project, and cranked out what is certainly one of his better albums. But Neil Young trivia aside, we're going to do one of my tunes. I've been doing this one every so often here. It's a song called When Will. It's a question song. You'll notice I write a lot of question songs. And that songwriting tactic, if you will, is called variations of a theme. Church girl, when will you? When will you go down where the saints and sinners pray? Church girl, when will you love me? When will we know we can never be? Soldier man, when will you? When will you learn? Following orders doesn't change the blame. And soldier man, when will you? When will you lay your rifle down? How many bodies lie in the ground? And hanging Christ, when will you? When will you lay that burden down? When will your work be done? And hanging Christ, when will you? When will you breathe your last? When will you die for me? Morning sun, when will you? When will you rise and fill my room with warmth and light? And morning sun, when will you? When will you melt the evening dew and vanquish the dark night? Oh, and church girl, when will you love me? When will we know that we can never be? When will? A song for the church girls, the soldier man, and me. Here's a song I haven't done on Musical Hangout yet. It's back when I was doing pandemic experiments. That ended up being kind of heinous. It's a song, it's probably a sad song. If you thought that song was sad, just you wait and see. Because we're about to get real dark. This is a song called Dark Eyed Dirge. The breeze that shoots through me cold, the oak tree that stands bold. We are the sting of sun on scorched earth, and we are like the world doomed at birth. I thought you were from my dreams, but that was just a shadow that passed, a memory that won't last. You are the water and the well I drink full and descend. We are the white of the eye, the dark of the soul. And you are the rose that grows on the vine. We are the thorns of the stem. And I thought you were from my dream, but that was just a shadow that passed, a memory that won't last. Yours are the dark eyes that still haunt. Yours is the spirit that haunts. And I am the fool who cannot hide. Hope for the changing tide. We are the peasant and the queen. You know what my words mean. This is the search of regret, dark-eyed dirge. I thought you were from my dream, but that was just a shadow that passed, a memory that won't last. Dark-eyed dirge. You figure out what it means. There's some symbolism in there. Of course, I went to the Bob Dylan School of Cryptic Symbolism, minoring in the David Lynch School of Cryptic Symbolism. We'll do a Josh Ritter song, even though apparently Either the YouTube algorithms don't like Josh Ritter or you people don't like Josh Ritter, but that's not gonna stop me. It's my program. I'll do what the hell I want. This is a song about a state that I live next door to. Oh, that love, all those mistakes. What else can a poor man make? I gave up a life of crime, gave it to a friend of mine. Something else was on my mind, the only ghost I'm haunted by. I hear howling down below. Idaho, Idaho. Wolves, oh, can't you see? There ain't no wolf can sing like me. And if it could, then I suppose that he belongs in Idaho. Packs of dogs and cigarettes for those who ain't done packing yet. My bag's packed and I wanna go. Idaho, Idaho. Ooh. Was out at sea for 7 years when I got a letter in Tangiers. Thought that I was on a boat. Tell that single word you wrote. That single word didn't landlock me. They turned the mast to see the trees and the wind of gravel roads. Idaho, Idaho. Turn the wind to gravel roads. Idaho, Idaho. Nailing these guitar switches. This thing on my guitar is getting kind of loose, and it's making me nervous. Here's another new song to Musical Hangout. It's a song called Travelogue. It's an inebriational travelogue written by your pal Zach, singer-songwriter, guitar player extraordinaire. And it's kind of it was inspired by that song. It's not very often that I do a song that one of my songs that was inspired by another song back to back, by the same song, I guess. So what I'm trying to say is, in my weird way, is that that song that I just sang by Josh Ritter inspired this song. And I usually don't do this kinds of things because I'm worried about getting sued. But at this point, arbitration is not going to stop me. Wish I was in Tennessee, underneath that tall green tree, watching that small creek flow, old truck driving down a gravel road. I'm far from where I'm supposed to be, trying to get back home. Wish it was 1969. Drugs revolution and we're feeling fine. Muscle cars and time to find out who we are. In the Aquarian age, we turned the page. Wish it was 1993. Grunge, hip-hop, and torn-up jeans. Too cool for school, dare not to do drugs. Write a note like Kurt Cobain. Burn out, don't fade away. After school, friends come and play. And there's cartoons on Saturday. I want someone to go with me down the road and back again. I'm on my way, I'm leaving today. I'm heading to the promised land. The streets up there are lined with gold. Once I pay the price that's owed. That song was called Travelogue from my 2021 record. Feels like 800 years ago at this point. The 2021 record, The Legend of Frankie Bastone. And thankfully, that was a wise creative decision on my part, because that album is like half, diabolical rock and roll, electric boogaloo, and half singer-songwriter stuff. It gave me ammunition to do this musical hangout. Because I can do the acoustic stuff or the electric mayhem stuff, which we'll get to next Tuesday. This is a song from my last album, my most recent album. It's called Hiding Place. I've been really feeling it as of late. Found a place to hide away, a place I can go to get away, a place I can go to be myself and turn off for a while. never saw the truth before. Before I saw it hanging from a cross. I never saw the light until I looked into the dark. Used to love a girl, but that was when I was old. Now I am young, so young in my love for you. And everything just runs by me. I'm just so far away, and I don't even know the sound of my own name. And I need a place to hide away, a place I can go to get away, a place I can go to be myself and then turn off for a while. Here's a Tom Waits song. It's been a hot minute since we've done Tom Waits. They're lining up to mad dog your tilt-a world. 3 shots for $1, then you win a real life doll. And all the lies that you tell, I believe them so well. Take them back to your red house. Put that fearful leap into the dark. And I did my time in the jail of your arms. And now Ophelia wants to know where she should turn. Tell me, what did you do? What did you do the last time? Why don't you do that? And go ahead and take this the wrong way. Time is not your friend. Do you cry? Do you pray? And wish them away? Are you still leaving nothing but bones in the way? Did you bury the carnival with the lions and all? Excuse me while I sharpen my nails. Tell me, who are you this time? Are you pretending to love? Well, I hear that pays well. How do your pistol and your Bible and your sleeping pills go? Are you still jumping out of windows in expensive clothes? Well, I fell in love with your sailor's mouth and your wounded eyes. You better get down on the floor. Don't you know this is war? Tell me, who are you this time? Tell me, who are you this time? Or tell me, who are you this time? Alrighty. Who Are You This Time from the 1992 album Bone Machine by Sir Tom Waits. Because really that's all people are, is bone machines, right? At least that's what he told Steve Vai. Again, circling back around to our talk about Steve Vai and Crossroads at the beginning of tonight's program. But Tom Waits was born in Whittier, California on December 7th in 1949, if my memory serves me well. Whittier, California is in Los Angeles County. It's basically as far south of in California or Los Angeles as you can get before you're not in Los Angeles proper. He described his childhood as fairly normal and middle class, but that didn't stop him, from going on and becoming one of the greatest songwriters that we've ever known. Interestingly enough, he considered himself a sort of rebel's rebel, if you will. So somebody who would rebel against what people were rebelling against. And when you grow up in the 60s, as a young man, or a young person, really, you're kind of swept away in the hippie counterculture. I mean, I can't think of a more primed target than a middle class, maybe lower middle class white kid than that to become a hippie. But he rebelled against that. He was inspired by Bob Dylan and the Beat Poets, and found himself more interested in that. And even at an early age, he talks about being more interested in mischief and criminality, things that would be later on he would write lots of songs dealing with those things. But he's sort of an eclectic guy, and he really established himself in the 1970s folk scene of Southern California, and he would eventually be heard by David Geffen, who at one point referred to being floored by his performance of a song of his called Grapefruit Moon, which would show up on his first album, released under David Geffen's Asylum Records in 1973. The album is Closing Time. I highly recommend any fan of American music, especially if you're interested in singer-songwriter stuff, check that album out. But he would really cut his teeth with jazz, and specifically some of the avant-garde jazz. And later on, his work would take a flair for the avant-garde, the experimental, if you will. But really, Tom Waits is, like most of my heroes, an acquired taste. But then again, so am I. And so if you can get past, some of the jazz stuff early on and really sit with I played probably the most commercial-sounding song on that Bone Machine record. But you're in for a treat. And if you can't stomach the music, you can at least appreciate Tom Waits as an actor. He was in the 1986 film by Jim Jarmusch, Down by Law. I just watched that, I think, last year for the first time. He also was in, one of my favorite pieces of Tom Waits trivia is he starred in, I can't remember the name of the young lady he starred in the film with, but he did the soundtrack for it called One from the Heart. And it is the movie that sank Francis Ford Coppola's company, American Zoetrope. That movie stunk so bad. But Tom Waits is great in it, and the soundtrack is not bad either. What else did he? He was in Mystery Men. He has a small cameo in The Fisher King, if you're willing to watch a naked Robin Williams. A great part in Licorice Pizza. That was a great movie. He's been silent recently. His last record was in 2011. I don't know when his last tour was. He is going through and occasionally remastering things. I think he might be one of those people that's kind of like retired but not really retired, like Jimmy Page. right, is he still farts out, high quality remasters of Led Zeppelin stuff, and he makes public appearances there. So he's not technically retired, but as far as I know, there's no music coming out of either of those gentlemen for the foreseeable future, and that makes me very sad. Let's sing a song about Jesus. This is an old gospel tune. I think there's jazz versions of it as well, but I got it from Dave Van Ronk. It's called Jesus Met the Woman at the Well. You know your Bible. That's from the Gospel of John, chapter 4. About Jesus meeting this lady at the well and breaking all sorts of customs at the time. And basically calling this lady out on the fact that she not only has 5 husbands, but the current husband, or the current man she's staying with, is not her husband. Jesus knows these things, okay? It's no use in lying. Well, Jesus met the woman at the well, my Lord, oh Jesus. Met the woman at the well, my Lord, and he told her everything she'd ever done. He said, woman, well, woman, where is your husband, oh woman? Yes, woman, where is your husband? And she told him, oh Lord, I have none. Well, he said, woman, yes, woman, you have 5 husbands. Well, woman, yes, woman, you have 5 husbands, and the one you have now is not your own. She said, this man, well, this man, he must be a prophet, or this man, yes, this man, he must be a prophet. He has told me everything I've ever done. Well, Jesus met the woman at the well, my Lord. Well, Jesus met the woman at the well, my Lord, and he told her everything she'd ever done. Here's another song I learned from Dave Van Ronk. Kind of realized I'm kind of dressed like him. You can't see too well on Instagram. But this is kind of an attire that 1970s Dave Van Ronk would wear. song called St. James Infirmary. It's an old folk song. Sometimes it's certain arrangements of it are called Streets of Laredo, which you would know if you like Johnny Cash or any country music. But I'm going to do it sort of the jazz blues way. Can you dig it? It was down at old Joe's barroom in the corner of the square. They were serving drinks as usual, and the usual crowd was there. On my left stood Big Joe McKennedy. His eyes were bloodshot red. Well, he turned to the crowd around him. These were the very words he said. I went down to that St. James Infirmary. I saw my baby there, stretched out on a long white table, so young, so cold, so fair. Well, let her go, God bless her, wherever she may be. She can search this wide world over, never find a sweeter man than me. Well, when I die, only you please bury me in my high top Stetson hat. Put a $20 gold piece on my watch chain. God don't know what I'd stand in pat. I want 6 crap shooters for pallbearers and a chorus girl to sing me away. Put a jazz band on my hearse wagon, raise the hell as I roll along. Well, let her go, God bless her, wherever she may be. She can search this wide world over, never find a sweeter man than me. Well, now that I've told my story, I'll take another shot of booze. And if anybody here will ask you, I got those gambler's blues. Well, let her go, God bless her, wherever she may be. She can search this wide world over, never find a sweeter man than me. Thank you. St. James Infirmary, sometimes called Gambler's Blues. Alright, I think my voice has got one more in me. This has kind of been my theme song for a little bit. I think that's why I keep doing it so much. That every time I do, somebody streams it, so. There's a song called I'm Okay. It was released about this time last year. Okay, I'm doing okay. Things could be better. They could be a whole lot worse. Sometimes I am riding high, other times I'm sinking low. Life can be so cruel, but it can be beautiful, like the hips of a girl on a Sunday street. Tongues can be sharp as swords and cut through even the strongest armor. I'm waiting for fortune to be kind. I'm trying to keep her off my mind. I've got nothing to win, I've got nothing to lose. I've got just enough strength for the days ahead. And okay, I'm doing okay. I just needed to be alone today. And so what about Scarlet? What can I say? It was together forever. Stay with me till the morning. But then the sun rose and it burnt the night away. And so what about love? What about inspiration? You can find them both, even when you're not looking. I will sing my song and write my words and dream each night about a beautiful girl. The world is not my home. I won't be here long. I'm marching toward that horizon line, home to that sweet by and by. Friends arrive and disappear. When Miss Jane comes calling, I won't be here. No, I won't be around. And okay, I'm doing okay. I just needed a friend today. The timpani will bend, and this story will end. One way or another, the book will close. I'll stand on the shoreline, watch the ships come in, 'cause one of them I know is mine. I'm waiting for my luck to turn. One more roll of dice, and I'm waiting for her call. I hope it comes soon. I know my day is coming fast. It's just a matter of time. Yes, I know how to win, and I know how to lose, and I'm learning how to be at peace and content with everything. And I'm learning how to be okay, even when it feels like I'm not. Okay, I'm doing okay. I just needed a win today. And I am okay. I hope you're okay out there. I hope that that snow squall didn't get you down. Can you dig in? I'll be back here. That's it for today. But I will be back here on the 28th of February. Wow. Can't believe February's already gone. The years start coming, and they don't stop coming. That's it for me, Zach Hval, reminding you that the best ally you can have in a street fight is a grandma. Bread is bread, cheese is cheese, praise God. So a bunch of guys are at a country club in the locker room changing, when all of a sudden a phone on a bench rings, and the man answers it, says hello, and she says, there's a lady on the other end, and she says, hi, honey, it's me. Are you still at the country club? And he says, yes. And she says, well, I'm out shopping, and there's this really nice leather coat here, and I really want to get it. It's only $500. Can I get it, please? And he says, sure, if you like it, get it. And she says, great. Incidentally, I was at the dealership earlier, and they had those new Mercedes models, and I found one that's really gorgeous, and I really want it. And he asks, well, how much does it cost? And she says, well, $80,000. And he says, okay, get it. But at that price, I want all the extra options included. And she says, great. One other thing, that house we were looking at last year is back on the market, and they're asking for $1.5 million for it. And he says, all right, put in an offer, but don't go above $1.25 million. And she says, thank you so much. I love you, and I'll see you soon. And he says, I love you too, and hangs up. And as he's sitting there, all the men are staring at him wide-eyed, because he had the phone on speaker the entire time. And he asks, does anybody know whose phone this is? Zach Hval reminding you that the muse will never die. We'll see you next time.